Good day, everybody, and I'm delighted to be here to talk in Turkey. And thank you, and I thank the Ministry of Education for the invitation. Now, imagine being an infant, and the infant is told, do not speak until you can speak whole sentences. And not only whole sentences, but don't speak until you can analyze grammar and you can read and write. Now that would be strange, no? Not only strange, but somewhat cruel and ignorant. But I would say that that was very much the state of foreign language teaching in the 1980s. In 1985, schools, when I started working, schools were still teaching from the age of 11 English, or 12. Why were they doing it from that age? Because they didn't know how to do it if it wasn't through reading and writing. But this isn't natural. It's not natural to teach in that way. Reading and writing are important skills, but reading and writing aren't language. What is language? Many illiterate people speak wonderful, rich language and they're storytellers, but they can't read and write. Of course, they can't analyze grammar. So, language is primarily a spoken vehicle, and it should be taught as such. That's a natural way to teach it. In 1985, I watched my daughter, who was 4 years old, that's her, learning to play the violin by the Suzuki method. Dr. Suzuki said that just as a baby learns to read, learns to speak before he can read and write, so a child should learn to play music by hearing and not by reading notation. It made sense to me. I'd suffered for many years playing the piano through notation and knowing it didn't feel very musical. So he called this the language of music. And as a linguistic scientist, I realized that we'd missed something. We should be teaching the music of language. This was my aha moment. It really was. How is language taught to babies? Through positive reinforcement and through repeated hearing. Yes, this is how babies learn it. They hear mummy 1,000 times, 10,000 times, and one day they say, mummy. And what does mummy do? Does she say, very good, now say something else? No. Mummy says, wow, you did great. And the kid thinks, oh, I did do great, I'll say it again. That's motivation. And motivation comes from success, not the other way round, incidentally, for those of you who are teachers. So, I saw an opportunity to work in an interesting field. Let's teach spoken English to children. I looked around the world in a pre-internet era, looking for the right materials and for the right methodology, only to discover that they didn't exist. So, what did I have to do? I had to do it myself. I was clearly a risk taker. I think it says something about my brain if I learned something from the previous speaker. And such a methodology really meant, sorry if I go back one, such a methodology meant repeated background hearing of CDs, coming to lessons with specially trained teachers and having special materials. And I started teaching 1 to 6-year-olds. Why did I teach 1 to 6-year-olds? Because the brain grows until the age of 7. And I wanted this language to connect their brain cells, to do something for them, much more than even language. I created homemade cassettes then, and the children heard them twice a day at home. Next year, my classes were full, and people were asking to register their 7-year-olds, their 10-year-olds, their 12-year-olds, because a 6-year-old could do it better. So I realized that I needed to duplicate myself and create teachers and materials. I was the first to do this, to have a method like this, and today we have 1,000 centers in 36 countries. Today it's generally accepted that one teaches spoken language to young children, but it wasn't in the 1980s. It was a new trend. By repeated hearing, children's understanding goes straight to long-term memory. And when they come to the class, they know it. But just the teacher has to teach it through games and activities. It's ever so simple, but the teaching methodology, getting the teachers to be able to teach in the correct manner and give the right feedback, that is a lot more complicated. We have created many song-packed activities for all different ages with our positive reinforcement. Now, would these children learn on their own without a teacher? Is there such a technology? I'm talking about children learning spoken English in an interactive, fun manner, and also reading and writing a little later on. Unfortunately, such technology does not sufficiently exist yet. However, we have backed our methodology up with technology. For example, we teach 3 to 19 years today, and we have technologies that support English. We have something called Stream. We can't hear this. There's meant to be sound. Is it possible to turn the sound on? No?
On all devices,
Thank you.
anywhere, anytime. Download to your device or watch on Stream. Watch full episodes. Daily hearing. Sing-along karaoke.
Have a lot on Stream. Have Candy Club. Yes, you can continue. You can play it. I'll be quiet. You can switch it back on. Somebody switched it off again.
Create your own
Thank you.
avatar. Watch episodes. Play games and practice your English. Choose from lots of enjoyable games.
Okay.
From babies to tweens.
We have other technologies for learning English for the very young kids.
Cheese. Eat.
These are all accessible. You can access your students, your children. If you look them up, they're for free. Many of the apps are for free, but other apps, such as our Read app, for example, is downloadable. It's 8 levels of books, 36 books. We can hear it a little bit. We go from the very basics of reading and the first letters up to quite a high level. It's a unique app for teaching reading and writing.
Cat on a mat. A fat cat on a mat. Mat. M-A-T.
Anyway, we have a song club. We have 100 free songs on the internet for young kids.
I can take a shower, you can take a flower. We can take a bus, a red bus for us. Bus, bus, we're waiting for the bus. Bus, bus.
We have our own radio station for teenagers. They're for free. Anybody can get onto this radio station. Teen Buzz Radio. Just download the app.
Richard Friedman Show.
Good afternoon, world, and good afternoon to Vietnam. They've certainly eaten lunch. Yes, well done, well done. We've been practicing that for hours. I know, we just practiced it 5 minutes ago. I've had a wonderful day, so...
Anyway, so those of you who are school teachers, you have a lot of free resources outside of our classes, and one of them is the Teen Buzz Radio, 24/7 radio programs. Sometimes it's just music, and sometimes it's live programs, sometimes it's repeat programs. Your children can be broadcast. Either people come to them or they'll phone in, and it's a wonderful tool for connecting teenagers around the world, a safe tool for connecting teenagers around the world. But my main goal was bigger. My goal was never just to teach English. English teaching's great, it's a good thing to do, but it was never my main goal. My main goal was a whole education for children from an early age. Early brain development. It was a kindergarten. So we created Helen Doron Kindergarten for 21st century education for children of today and for tomorrow. And we governed it by principles of curiosity, creativity, communication, compassion, joy, brain stimulation, knowledge, physical fitness, caring for the environment, developing better habits for a better planet, and positive reinforcement. And of course, good nutrition. Why? You've heard over and over here that AI is coming in, many jobs are going to change, but what we do know is that we need good, quality children, happy children. What's the point, if anything, if they're not happy? And these principles are in all of our classes, but also in our special courses. We've created special courses for the kindergarten. The first one, for example, is called Multi-Music. There we go. Multi-Music is a 4-year curriculum of songs and dances in 7 different languages, including Turkish.
Sống, khổ, lính, nhãn, su,
Anyway, we have Math Ride is a special math program from the age of 2, starting with our math boards. Math Basics, Math Riders, Maths Levels 1 and 2. We have a physical program. An active body is a learning body with dance, yoga and Pilates for correct movement, together with English. For example,
sideways.
yoga.
So many.
We have ISCI, a 3-year curriculum of science, fostering curiosity, which is so important in children. For understanding our world through scientific eyes, we have an arts program with arts and crafts from around the world, including self-expression and getting to know oneself through art. All these things that, as all the previous speakers have said, children will need to know, and should always know, but they'll especially need to know in the age of technology, to hold their own and be themselves. They get to a high level. You've seen a lot of the footage here is from are kindergartens in Korea. We do have kindergartens in Turkey as well. I don't have footage from that, but we'll have a look and we'll see the level that 5-6-year-olds can reach in the kindergarten of English. This says never.
You should always get even with your friends.
Always, sorry.
Okay, next one. Betray your friends. Betray your friends. Should you always betray your friends? Or never betray your friends? Girls, can you tell me, can you read or say your sentence? You should.
Never betray your friends.
Boys and Soyoung, what do you think? We should. You should
They
always
have
betray your
always
friends.
and they have
does
never.
something mean to you. You want to do something mean back?
Yeah.
You think that's okay?
Yeah.
You think that makes
He betrayed them.
He betrayed them. How did he betray them? I forgot the story. How did he do that?
Go sing.
It's too late to say we're sorry. It's too late to make amends. It's too late to try to turn back time. We'll be crossroads trees. Our turn will be fair. No one is true without your soul. We'll raise. Where's my nail? You cannot stay.
Okay. Most people think that educational technology, they think of it in terms of internet and devices, i.e. digital tools. This is one part of educational technology, but the larger meaning of educational technology concerns educational systems of any sort that result in better outcomes. Tomorrow's jobs are unknown, but lifelong learning and self-learning and love of learning are essential. Becoming a person of value will be all the more important. The children of tomorrow need an education for tomorrow, and it starts with foreign language learning for the 21st century. Thank you.